Good evening. I'm doing this night before Sunday. So let's have a look at how the Saturday progressed, and you can see quite clearly post-international pre-Champions League causing absolute mayhem. I told you one or two of these would slip up, and I wish we'd stuck to our guns and started laying these teams, particularly at low odds, when they were leading. Let's take a look. Well, it's with the green screens that we will start. A venture into the Championship can always be a dangerous affair, but I think we chose well with QPR yesterday against Hull. Odds on favourite at home, dominating in-play stats. That's what I'm looking for. Really solid throughout. Your first cash out at 1-1. Old Muggins here wasn't listening to member Michael, who told us to eat our greens. And we should have ate our greens at the 1-1. In this instance, I laid Hull, which is exactly the same as backing QPR +1. I thought there's a degree of value with that, but as you can see, QPR ended up winning the match, which was a pity. I didn't go match odds on this occasion, would have cleaned up. It went 1-1, then it went 1-2 to Hull. So Michael vindicated there. At 2-2, I got the bleep out of Dodge. I didn't get out at 1-1. Should have done, because it is the English Championship. Well, this was on me, totally. Total and utter lack of discipline. Why? Well, it's stacking up, isn't it? Liverpool have an awful record recently. This is post-international break, pre-Champions League. This is when you get Liverpool. Compound that with Nottingham Forest, new manager, Sean Dyche, could do anything. The disciplined amongst us would have got involved at least at 0-2 to Nottingham Forest. So I am very disappointed to have made that loss there yesterday. Totally and utterly unavoidable on a tricky day. And I did target this lot earlier on as potential cock-up masters in this unique post-international pre-Champions League weekend. Yet another story of new manager syndrome, and a West Ham 0-2 lead was an excellent starting point if you decided to get involved. You can see I backed Bournemouth at 22s at their highest. Delighted with that. And laid West Ham at 1.24 at their lowest. Bournemouth came from 0-2 down to make it 2-2. So the 1.67 pre-match odds vindicated. But yet again, Nuno Espirito Santo getting 2 goals out of West Ham. They look to be in good hands now, and they have solved their goal scoring issues. The Cherries only tend to lose to the big boys, and the European boys as well. Manchester City, Liverpool, Aston Villa. So yes, West Ham targetable yesterday. Could have made 16 or thereabouts green, but I sacrificed a bit because Bournemouth were hitting something like 114, 115 in their momentum in the last gasp of the match. So well worth laying or sacrificing a little bit of profit at 109 and 106, just in case they ignited late on and got the late winner. Boy, did we get a bang for our buck here. Well worth taking Bayer Leverkusen on 0-3 up, as you know, post-international pre-Champions League. Wolfsburg made it 1-3. Your first cash out opportunity. Wolfsburg made it 2-3, but the goal didn't stick. That was a 70th minute goal. Would have been perfect, absolutely perfect timing, because it would have affected the market hugely. What a pity. But we had a good run for our money for £2.64, that's for sure. I like doing 106 and 109 lays late on, particularly with a story. This was 3-3 late on, and indeed a red card arrived, and we got a 4-3 with a last gasp goal. But as you can see, that goal was disallowed. Talk about unlucky. Could have nailed 49 quid there had that 4-3 stuck. There's my old pal, 109, 106 yet again. Very, very strong both teams to score pattern for both Alaves and Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo 1-1s all the time. Well worth laying late on because they're away from home leading 0-1, just in case they cocked it up. But no, it ended 0-1. This was a perfect trading match. Everything aligned. It was quite superb. Coventry, though, did take a 0-2 lead, but we didn't get involved at 0-1 because they weren't showing anything. 0-2, yes, get a sniff in there. Really good odds as well to lay West Brom. 1.34, back Coventry 11.5. And boy, did they deliver. 2-2, got a goal before half-time, your first cash-out opportunity. 2-2, right after the break. Red card for the Baggies, and then 3-2. You could have got out at any of those stages. I got out at 67 quid at 3-2. Delighted with that from Coventry. Champions League cock-ups, anybody? Well, there was plenty to choose from. And some matches that I missed, by the way. On paper, this was a lay of Brentford leading, but I just didn't see the stats from Brighton to get that 1-1. Should have stuck to my guns with the research, because that research was very accurate. 2 goals for Brighton at home. Brentford tend to lose away. Fulham and Sunderland targeting the late lay of the draw here. Fulham dominating the match, keeping Sunderland's 2-goal habit at bay. Very well-deserved lead and win. Liverpool post-international pre-Champions League. Absolute cock-up. Newly promoted. We've already gone through this one. Wolves, new manager, Rob Edward, survived till 60th minute. Crystal Palace, well deserving of that win. But 2 very defensive sides. New manager syndrome yet again affecting 1, 2, 3 teams yesterday, making it quite difficult for us to ascertain how they would turn up. Newcastle and Man City late on. 2 Champions League sides. Probably not a match to get stuck in with, apart from perhaps laying Newcastle late on as Man City try to get out of jail with another 96th minute equaliser. But this is quite clearly down to post-international pre-Champions League. Quite clearly. Be so careful with these Champions League candidates. Look at this. Monaco getting absolutely tonked. They've got too many eyes on the Champions League. Very, very distracting. Bundesliga. Champions League. I went for 3-2-2-3 in my research. Very near to the mark. Very good performance from FC Köln. Struggle for Eintracht Frankfurt. Bayer Leverkusen. Well worth taking on. We nearly got that second goal. Dortmund were 2-0 up. This is a Champions League cock-up. We should have laid Dortmund 2-0 up. Carrying on my argument that we've got to take on these Champions League sides post-international pre-Champions League. And, well, Stuttgart delivered, didn't they? They're no mugs, this lot. Stuttgart having an excellent season. Another underperformance for the old lady. Pre-Champions League. Fiorentina have not won a match this season. Bologna should have laid that draw. But I was worried. It was about 2.28 at half-time. Very, very short odds. But Bologna are scoring 2 goals for fun. That draw, very, very decent odds. You would have got something like a £35, £40 gain out of that. Because they got a quick 0-2. Very well worth following Bologna this season. And a gentle reminder about these derby-style matches and post-international pre-Champions League. Could be any old scoreline, couldn't it? So very difficult to decipher. Another one bites the dust. Ajax, pre-Champions League. No coincidence, they're losing at 1.3 in this particular weekend. No pre-European football for Aston Villa. They're involved in the Europa League. Away at Leeds. Thing you note about Aston Villa is they do have that potential for that second goal away from home. 5 wins in 6 for the Villains. Leeds don't tend to see 0-0s at half-time, so we might get that goal before half-time with them. Both teams have scored in their last 3 at home as well for Leeds. Arsenal and Tottenham, well, you know all about this, don't you? Pre-Champions League and North London derby. So not playing that, not even going to give you a sniff at an angle in pre-match. Not worth it. Another derby. Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United. We've seen a lot of them, haven't we? Today, well, yesterday and today. I don't tend to play these. I do find French to be a little bit competitive, but I have done a little bit of research on it as well. So let's take a look through. Two, 3, 2, 4, 2, 0 goals at home for Toulouse. No wonder their odds are short. They are solidly threatening 2+ goals at home. That's a really strong foundation for us traders to get involved with, particularly if Angers score first. This looks like a good one to take on Angers if they do happen to lead at any stage. Lille have kept only 3 clean sheets all season, which is a big concern. But they might get away with it because they've only had the one home defeat. So you'll be looking in play, particularly to see whether Paris FC score first, and indeed if Lille can respond in kind. They do have trouble keeping sides out Lille. 2 away score draws in a row for Werder Bremen could give them some hope today, but this is Leipzig back to their very best. But Werder Bremen are finding it difficult for teams to beat them. Only being beaten really by Champions League type teams. Leipzig could arguably be described as that kind of a team, but they're not in the Champions League this season. 4 out of 4 home wins, back up and at them, Leipzig. Expect them to continue along their merry way. The wheels have fallen off for St. Pauli at home to Union Berlin, so you do feel fear for them today. A couple of score draws for Union Berlin, including a 3-3 against Bayern Munich, catching Bayern pre-Champions League. 2.55 the favourite, though. Please bear that in mind. It does give St. Pauli a chance today. No win for Verona and Parma, who are on the improve. They have scored in 3 consecutive matches against decent opponents, but that puts to bed the reliable trading element, which was to lay over 0.5 goals in a Parma match. Tended to keep it very, very tight. Cremonese against AS Roma. Solidly with the Romans here. Not had a draw yet this season. All 3 defeats were 1-0, and they've had 4 1-0 wins as well. So you're always vulnerable when you're aiming for a 1-0 scoreline. But I think they'll get away with it against Cremonese today. 2 1-0 wins v fellow relegation fodder. See Lecce with a target on their back today. Lazio must be eyeing 3 points in a match of this type. Yet another derby. A Milanese derby. Inter against AC Milan. Champions League involvement as well. This is going to be a bit of a humdinger, but very, very tough to call. St. Troy is back. God bless him. The new patron saint of Ireland. Playing for AZ Alkmaar. Been scoring as well recently for them. This could be a touch of the old Andy Robertsons. You saw he came on late. Really emotional week for Troy Parrott. So he might underperform for AZ Alkmaar. Heerenveen, if their home habits continue, you're going to have something like a 2-2, 3-3 here today. Could be an absolute humdinger. So that could be your opening gambit if you fancied it. 3-3, 2-2. That covers the first 2 or 3 teams to score. Feyenoord and NEC Nijmegen. NEC Nijmegen have put in some good performances. So Feyenoord had better be on their guard here today. They have failed to score in only the one match, but I think Feyenoord might just have enough in that particular battle. Telstar Utrecht, I decided on a neutral play here. Goals before half-time. Very, very strong pattern for both of these 2 teams. Don't forget, we're in the league for goals as well. Groningen can consistently beat teams 12th and lower. That's the only reason I can see for the short odds today. They're meeting another candidate today, so I would expect of them. Moving down to our last elite league, which is the Spanish La Liga. Real Oviedo in all sorts of bother, newly promoted and bottom of the league. 2.2 the favourite. I think Rayo Vallecano should be shorter odds than this. Yes, indeed. Only 4 wins, but 3 wins in the last 5 matches. The momentum's been scuppered a little by the international break, but they do look a solid unit, particularly against the bottom of the league. 3 wins in 4 at home, scoring 2+ goals, exactly reminiscent of Brighton, who we should have taken Brentford on and supported Brighton yesterday. Exactly the same profile for Betis. Girona, no win away. So you're solidly with Betis here today. Getafe and Atletico Madrid. Can't really research this. It's away from home for Atletico Madrid. That's when they tend to drop points, particularly post-international pre-Champions League. Messy fixture. Real Madrid as well, by far and away the better side, but it's post-international pre-Champions League. You've already seen the carnage yesterday, so be careful. XG analysis today, I think it's a little bit redundant as far as these post-international pre-Champions League sides is concerned, and there's too many derbies as well. I don't think it's worth our while doing XG analysis. I don't think it'll pay off for us. So I will give that a miss today. There's just too many ifs, buts and maybes, and it's just an awful weekend to be trusting anything statistically, isn't it? Ask Man City, ask Liverpool. I hope to see members a little bit later on, but please do bear in mind I am ostensibly in the island to see family. My sister arrives from Australia with her daughter. We haven't seen them for a while. And my brother's birthday, my brother Matt's birthday tomorrow. They're coming for lunch with my ma and my pa. So I'll have to make an effort with them. I hope you'll excuse me if I can't make a telegram. But these are unique opportunities, and if I miss them, they're gone forever. So you'll understand if I turn up for my family rather than for a telegram session with yourselves. But as ever, caveat, if the lunch gets ended early enough, great, I'll be on the case. But please do excuse me if I don't turn up tomorrow. I'll do my very best to. It's just family must come first, particularly when my parents are this old. You never know when they're going to pass away. That's the brutal truth. You saw Manny from the Stone Roses the other day. Gone in an instant. Preparing for a UK speaking tour. Boom. Gone. It's that kind of sharp. And when you're 85 and you're 86, you could go in your sleep at a moment's notice. She's got an operation coming up in December as well. I'm worried about that because the anaesthetic for an 85-year-old could severely impact. So you can understand why I'm keen to spend as much time as I can, particularly with my elderly parents. Once they're gone forever. So I've got to make sure I'm with them and I support them while I can. If that means missing the odd session here or there, so be it. But as you know very well, this is not a habit I like. Because you pay your money, I want to give you as much as I can. I will do my very best to be on board, but please, got to focus on family. And I'm afraid, being in the UK, I have these distractions, not in Thailand, but in the UK. So my apologies in advance if I can't do a telegram session for you. I'll do my very best to. Have a great weekend all the same. Have a great Sunday. It looks a good coupon, but please, 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 post-international pre-Champions League, take these Egypts on. They're cocking it up left, right and centre, particularly if they're leading 2-0. Or if their odds are short enough already. Bayern Munich 2-0 down. Boy, oh boy. Dortmund letting a lead slip. Have a great day. I might see you later on Telegram.